Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick little video on how to use the acrylic in your set. You do have to do one acrylic nail for state board, so I thought maybe if y'all started practicing kind of the basics now, Miss Jones and Miss Smith can work with y'all some more when y'all get to the floor in a couple semesters and kind of perfect it. If you want to use your little fingers to practice on, that is great. Y'all also have a little sheet that has a ton of little circles on it that came in y'all's nail kit. You can practice just working with the acrylic on that sheet if you're not comfortable doing the finger yet. But I'm going to show you all the stuff you're going to need to start the acrylic. So first off, you're going to need your liquid. I know y'all's looks a little different than mine. So you're going to need your liquid. You're going to need white powder. And you're also going to need pink powder. You have to do the pink and white for state board. You're also going to need nail glue. Super glue works just as fine practicing. That's no big deal. Your finger. You also have some of these in your kit. Y'all's look a little different. These are to help you build the acrylic on the end of the nail. It's the way you have to do it for state board. You also have a box of the little nail tips. You're going to need one of those. And either a nail tip cutter or a pair of fingernail clippers, either one. And then your acrylic brush. It comes in a tube like this. Y'all ignore all the junk in my living room floor. We're winging this here. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to take your little nail like this, and you are actually going to take a piece of masking tape. Works the best. You can use duct tape, whatever you want. Masking tape works the best, so if you don't have any, they have it at the dollar store. Run and get your roll, and I'll show y'all how to put this on as your first layer. Alright, so you're going to wrap the masking tape completely around the nail bed, kind of secure it under the bottom, and then you are either going to take a cuticle pusher, a little wooden stick, this is what I have right now, and you are going to bust around the cuticle area. Y'all can see kind of where I shoved it in and busted the tape. So that's going to give you a little bit of freedom when you start putting the nail tip on here. Okay, so you're going to take the nail glue and put it on the back side of one of the tips that is in the box in your kit. And you are going to take that nail tip and shove it up into that cuticle. This is going to make it a lot more secure. When you're doing your tip, you can kind of see. Well, I'm not sure that you can see. But try to get the tip as straight as possible. Mine is not very straight, but you can just kind of push it back up in there. Then you're going to hold just for a few seconds until your glue dries. Be sure not to glue your finger to do this. That's when it gets kind of complicated. You're just going to hold it on there a few minutes. Let it dry. Alright, so the next step, you're going to take either your tip cutters or your fingernail clippers, and you're going to cut this nail pretty short. You need a little bit of overhang. Not sure how good the lighting is in here. Not very much. Okay, it does not need to be super long. The shorter it is, the easier it's going to be for you to work with this. You don't need to cut it until you know that your glue is good and dry. And then you can take and kind of smooth out these edges if they're rough. With a file, just to kind of get them a little straighter. If you didn't cut super straight, mine's not super straight. And then the next step, you're going to get one of these. I'm trying to do this with one hand, guys. And let's see if I can do it like this. No, maybe this way. Okay, super horrible at this, guys. Sorry. Alright, so you're going to bend these little flaps up. No matter which kind of these you have. Some of them are bigger. Some people's come with different colors in their kits. Sorry, y'all, I'm dropping stuff. So you're going to just fold these up. And then you're going to, hold on. Okay, maybe I got this a little better, guys. Alright, so you're going to take this little form and you're going to work it back and forth like this. I know this is super close up. Until that edge is sort of round. You're gonna take your finger right here. I'm not sure. Hold on, guys. Okay, so you have your finger. This is super hard to do one-handed. You're gonna get your form and you are going to put it under the edge of the nail. Okay, so the deal with the form is you want it flush under the tip of that nail. You see how there's no gap? You don't need a gap between the tip and the form. Your little wings that I have, they don't have to be secure. That one kind of stuck down, but the most important thing is that there is literally no gap between that form and that nail tip. This is going to make it the easiest when you start working with your acrylic, okay? So I know most of y'all have the little dapping dishes. This is the point where you would pour a very small amount of liquid, like maybe half of a dapping dish, if that, in one. You're going to pour your white in one, again, not very much, and then your pink in one. I don't have dapping dishes, so y'all bear with me. We're kind of winging this since we're teaching from home, okay? Okay, so when you open your acrylic brush for the very first time, ignore mine, it's a little wonky. You are going to dip it in your liquid. Well, if I have any liquid, you're going to wipe it off. There is a film that comes on these brushes. So you're going to take it, you're going to wipe it on kind of a doubled up paper towel. Make sure it's super absorbent. You can kind of fold the paper towel over, drag your brush through it. Make sure you keep this paper towel close by. You're going to need it some more. So when you start, my brush, y'all, it is like sad, really sad. You do not need very much liquid when you start actually doing your acrylic. So we're going to pretend that this lid here is my dapping dish for my liquid. We're just going to roll with it. So when you dip your brush, you are going to dip just the tip. And then you're going to wipe on the side opposite from you. You see how I'm wiping? But you are literally just going to dip the tip. And if you feel like you still have too much, come over here and wipe it on your brush or on your paper towel, okay? So again, we're just going to barely dip that tip. And then you're going to wipe the excess off that side, okay? I'm trying to get this brush right, y'all. Okay, so the same thing with your powder. You're going to start with your white on the very end of your nail. So when you go in, you're going to go across from you. And you're going to drag towards you till you have a little bead right here on the end. You're not going to touch the glass, okay? Your little glass dapping dishes, don't do it. It causes, you can see that kind of wad of stuff in this little container. That's what it'll cause. So your little bead, you're going to take it. And I'm going to show you a practice one first. You're going to lay your brush flat, especially if you're working on those little sheets of paper. But you're going to do the same with nails. You're going to take your brush and you're going to roll. This brush is all wonky. You're going to roll that bead off. You see how I just rolled my brush and it came right off? And then you can start working with it. That way you're not mushing acrylic all down in your brush. See, there's nothing in my brush, even though it looks wild. You just rolled it right off on whatever surface you are working with. This is the sheet I was telling y'all about. Y'all get one in your kits. It has like a little slicky, like page protector type finish on it. It's a super, super good way to practice. It has some little pointers here. Shows you how to do a few things. How to blend, that sort of thing, and drag. It shows you up there. So you can practice on this and then let the acrylic dry and it just pops right off and you can reuse it if you leave that little slicky page on it, okay? So I highly recommend y'all doing this and practicing this way before you start on the actual nails. It just gives you a great practice. So I'm going to try to set this camera up so y'all can actually see me doing the nail. I think that might work. Check it out. Okay. So, like I was saying before, a little bit of liquid. Wipe your brush diligently. Make sure there's not a ton. Same thing with your powder. You're going to go across from you. And you're going to drag and get your bead on there. Then you're going to take this. I don't know how good that bead is, y'all. It might be too dry. And you're going to put this right on the end. I know that looks super messy right now. But you're going to go back and you're going to pat with the belly of your brush. And if you feel like there's too much liquid, like I know there's too much liquid in this one, I will like push it kind of to where I want it. Keep pushing, push that white down. You only want the white to meet up to your tip. You do not want it over the edge. Mine got a little over the edge, so I'm going to push it. And when you're moving acrylic, you're always going to push with the belly of the brush. You're never going to use the tip, okay? So you're going to keep working that acrylic. You're going to work it downwards with that belly. Keep wiping. Y'all ignore, my living room is a hot mess. Super sorry. My kid's been out here playing. So you're taking the belly of the brush and you're kind of pushing the white up to line up those edges. You're going to push it down some. I'm sure this is kind of blurry. Sorry, guys. Trying to record yourself while doing stuff is super hard with your phone. So you're just going to kind of keep patting till you get it lined up. And you can see there's a hair in there. It's starting to line up. It's on this edge. Right up to the edge. You're going to line it up on the side. Mine's trying to drift over here. And I'll just keep bumping it with the belly of that brush. Never the tip, okay? Always that middle part. And just kind of keep patting, wiping my brush. Alright. So now you have the white part on. Not sure if y'all can see that. So you're going to go back in, get you a little more liquid. Same thing. Make sure you wipe it super good. Don't want too much. Now we're going to go in with our pink. Same thing. Across without touching the glass and drag towards you, okay? So now I have my pink bead and I'm going to go in directly behind this white and I'm going to roll that pink bead. Y'all see that? Alright, we're going to pat, keep patting. Wipe your brush if you feel like you got too much liquid in there, if it's feeling kind of sticky-ish. Alright guys, if you have a bead that is too dry, you're going to have to add more liquid. If you have one that's too wet and it's sticky, you're going to have to keep wiping your brush. Oh, I completely forgot. Okay, between the white and the pink, do y'all know when y'all go get your nails done, how they kind of swap it and they make what's called a smile line? So you have a definite line between the white and the pink. Even though they blend it, it doesn't mush together. It's not a blended color. There is a distinction between the two colors. So that's where that smile line comes into play. And we'll touch on that a little more. Alright, so now you're going to get your third bead. When you go to state board, you have to practice the 3-bead method. So across from you, drag forward. If you feel like your brush didn't pick up enough, you can kind of dip a little more. And you're going to put this one at the very back. Oops, sorry, y'all can't see that. Roll your brush. Listen, guys, this does not need to be on the cuticle. They look for that sort of thing. So when you're practicing, go ahead and practice kind of getting it right up to that cuticle. Right up to that area without actually getting it on the cuticle, okay? So now we have 2 pinks and a white. This edge over here is looking a little wonky. I will tell y'all, nails are not my specialty. I try, but I'm not super good at it. So once you have your 3 on there, you're going to lightly blend. You don't want that pink and that white to mesh and become one. It's not supposed to be an ombre. It's still supposed to be, there's still supposed to be a distinction, okay? Alright. Odorless acrylic, that's what this is. It does not dry pretty in the beginning. Do y'all see how wonky that looks and how it's kind of uneven, like it's not super pretty? Don't let that stress you out. I've been doing this for a very long time and mine still looks like that. Odorless acrylic takes a very long time to dry. So this is the part where you would sit here and you're going to fan this, okay, until it gets dry. Okay, so when you're trying to see if your acrylic is dry so you can start your filing, you're going to take your acrylic brush loosely and you're going to Do y'all hear that? Once it starts making that really good clicking noise, that's how you know that it is ready, okay? So once you know that this is dry, you're going to carefully remove your form. I recommend holding your nail tip like so before you snatch that form off. Alright, so once your form is off, this is kind of what you're working with. You're going to have that really sticky, tacky, what's called our inhibition layer on top of this nail. So you are going to take your finger, your fingernail file, and you're going to file all one direction. And you're going to use your medium to rough grit file, and you're going to start filing all one direction. Okay? Alright, so I'm not sure how well y'all can see it. Do y'all see that kind of wad of stuff all on that one side? That's where I'm rolling that inhibition layer to. And you're going to keep filing until it does not feel tacky anymore, okay? And you're going to get all that kind of rolled to one side. Alright, so once you get that off, your nail's going to look kind of hazy. It's not going to be super shiny. This is the part where you're going to take your file and do any shaping you need done. If you have a little hump, like I kind of got one, I messed up a little bit, you're going to kind of file that out. So we'll work on that first. Alright, so I still have a little hump. I'm going to keep working on that. I should have put, I'm sure y'all can see, a little more white acrylic on the side where there's a little dip. That's a common mistake. You just need to make sure you get this thick enough, because it is not going to be as thick as this part because you do not have the tip under the white. It's being used as if you're adding an extension on without a tip. So be sure to make this a little thicker. I did mess up, but y'all are learning from my mistakes. So now you're still looking kind of dull, not shiny. Y'all should have a 4-way buffer or file. Every side's a different one. You're going to start with the highest grit and then gradually flip over till the lowest one. So you're going to do like step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, 4, until your nail gets nice and shiny, okay? Alright, so I don't have the 4-way buffer, but you can kind of tell I used a little buffer. It just puts a little more shine on it. Nothing super major. This is what your nail is going to look like when you were done, something similar. So when you are doing all these, I know y'all have a lot of fingers. Do not use your hand yet if you bought the full hand. Just use your little fingers. Make sure you tape them all first. You can do a bunch of them at one time. And when you are done, you simply take it like this, pop it loose, and it slides out. And then all you have left is to pull that little bit of tape out, and you are good to go. The only other thing I will tell you guys is make sure you do not leave any of your acrylic stuff in a hot car, a hot room in your house. Y'all can kind of see how that looks like once you pull it out. There is no damage to the finger. Do not leave it anywhere hot. It will explode and it will ruin whatever it gets on. So y'all be super careful with that. If y'all have any more questions, y'all let me know. I will be happy to answer them. Y'all feel free to send me pictures of any of them y'all do. Y'all please take the time to practice this just so you can kind of get your feet wet with it. Learn a little bit about it before y'all come in and have hands-on stuff. I would really super appreciate y'all trying it out, even if it's just on your sheet of paper. It's great practice. Remember to work from the tip backwards, and y'all practice making your little beads, okay? And moving them around with the belly of your brush, which like we said is kind of the center. You can pat it around, wipe your brush out if you feel like they're too wet. If they're too dry, add more liquid. Practice on the sheet actually makes you better, I feel like, because you put them on there and they can kind of slide around. So you kind of move it around, wipe your brush out, get some of the liquid out, and you can kind of play around with it a little more and at a little better pace than you can having to do all the steps to the finger. So y'all be sure to practice some of this. It has a lot of great pointers on here. Tammy Taylor has some good tips if y'all look her up on YouTube. And I hope that y'all are able to follow along with this video. I know it's a little crazy. So, alright guys, thank y'all.